New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
There we go. What's going on? It's Jay Ellis for the Nick of Time show. Here, give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk a little bit about the off season, the preseason that's coming along, what some of these Knicks have done, and what we can expect in the future. And we all going to talk about it, all right? Before we even get into the details of what we can project for the season based on last season, I'll have to introduce my guys. First and foremost, you already know what this is. It's the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G in the building, in new settings, ready to get the show on the road.
Exactly. And of course, you already know the rookie of the KOT squad who's putting up triple doubles, my man Lee from Deadspin and Posting and Toasting. What's going on, Lee?
What's up, y'all? Good to be back, man. I'm ready to talk some Knicks. Let's get it on.
Shout out to Lee putting up those Ice Cube numbers with the triple doubles on the KOT stuff. All right. All right, let's get to it. First, before we even get to the overview and the stats and all this other stuff, I'm going to ease into that and just talk about RJ Barrett. Did you guys see RJ Barrett's interview yesterday on MSG? Well, not MSG Networks. The NST YouTube streets, really. They're on the streets with us, pretty much. Did you guys see the interview with Monica McNuck and RJ Barrett? You go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I did. I always think it's funny when the Knicks media reporters and the press get all salty by not being invited to these events. When in reality, the whole purpose of these is for these new players or re-signed players to be reintroduced to the fan base and allow the fan base to kind of have softball pitches, get to know the players, get reacquainted with their connections in New York, their expectations for the season. It's not really a time to be grilled over the fire of metrics and points and things of that nature. Right. But it's an opportunity for them to have fun and to be reacquainted with their personalities. And it's always good to see RJ talking about how much he loves to be with the team. It's nice to be reminded that players do love to be here, and once they're drafted here now, we've retained them. Breaking that Charlie Ward curse was great. I'm really happy we did it with RJ Barrett.
Yeah, we gotta ease them into the New York media. We can't just throw them into the rules. Let them have the good feels, talk about their expectations, and like Lee said, sometimes the softball questions, right? We don't need to go into the fire with that. But to me, there wasn't really much to take from that interview, really, and I really don't expect to see much information from those interviews. Did you guys hear anything? The most I gotten from that is he really thinks highly of Jalen Brunson. And I think low-key Julius Randle thinks the same thing, because Julius Randle, it's funny, I listened to the Rory and Moyle podcast earlier in the month, and Julius Randle was talking about how good he felt and the new additions to the team, and it was they added 2 new players, so he must really feel good about Jalen Brunson and Isaiah Hartenstein to just be feeling that well about those 2 players. That's the only thing I can really take from this whole entire interview. What do you think, Ryan?
I mean, the way I see it, I'm look, RJ just signed a big deal. Training camp hasn't even started yet. So there's really no questions to grill RJ on at the moment. So I think the Knicks played it right. Just have a simple interview, introduce him to, like Lisa, introduce him back to, the fans, because he just signed a new 4-year deal, $120 million, well, with incentives. So at the end of the day, the Knicks media have all year to question Knicks players about stats and their performance or whatever the case may be. And even if the media was to question RJ Barrett about, those, about his statistics and performances going into the season, and want to dive deep into, the guy's, his mindset, or whatever the case may be, all the media is going to get his generic answers anyway.
Yeah.
Because RJ's not going to really give anything away. So it doesn't really make sense for the media to be there at that moment. But the media is always going to make a big deal out of it, and I'm just expecting to go into the season with the Knicks players, with their mind right and focused, and like I said, media have all year to question the Knicks players.
Yeah.
So
RJ Barrett's not the right person to ask about us missing out on Donovan Mitchell. That's a question for Leon Rose. And I do agree with the media when they critique Leon Rose for not being out there front and center. It's a face of the franchise, answering tough questions. That's more than fair. But to ask RJ Barrett has a feel to want to be traded for Donovan Mitchell, and that's not the question for him to answer. That's Leon's question to answer.
Russ. Oh, and those questions are coming. Let me tell you, training camp comes, and those interviews start rolling through. Those questions are gonna come. So I'm glad they got this out the way, because the smoke is on the way. Berman is ready. I'm telling you. And RJ already got that relax in the tuck. Relax, Berman. He already got it. I know he's practicing in the mirror. So stay tuned for that when training camp comes. All the haymaker questions from that to Jalen Brunson having family ties and having inside information on the Knicks. All that's coming. But look, I like how we're talking about RJ Barrett and being traded, because I actually have a question to pose to you guys about that. And we can all get into our questions too. Like, what do you think the biggest questions that we have to answer, or the player has to answer rather, about this season? And for me, when we talking about RJ Barrett, right? RJ Barrett just got the bag. Right now, he is the highest paid player on the team. Not that much, like a smidge, but with great money comes great responsibility. For me, I'm looking at a few things. For one, I'm looking to see, does RJ Barrett have pressure to perform this season, right? Two, I'm also looking at the fans' reaction, because we already know what comes with the bag. What comes with the bag is the criticism from the fans. Everybody loved Allen Houston until Allen Houston got the bag. Once Allen Houston got the bag, oh, that bum Allen Houston. You know what I'm saying? He's injured. I can't believe it. Like, that comes with New York. So I'm really waiting to see how he handles that pressure, if the fans are still going to stay with RJ, and can he make that next step? What do you guys want to see from RJ Barrett? You go ahead, Ryan. I'll let you start it off.
Okay, well, I think first and foremost, I do want to see if he's able to take that next step, because like you said, 4 years, he got the bag. So now he has to prove that he's worth the bag. So he's definitely going to have to step his game up a notch. He's definitely going to have to become a more consistent 3-point shooter. He's definitely going to have to add that to his game. He's definitely improved his right hand. A lot of people, I guess people you think, people who claim that they watch Knicks games, but they really don't claim that, RJ never goes right. He always goes left. But clearly, if you watch Knicks games, you see that he goes right as well. So he's definitely improved his hand on his right hand, which is definitely a positive. And overall, I just want to see if he can take that next step. Right now he's at the edge of he's a 20-point per game scorer. Averages around 5 rebounds, 6 rebounds a game, 3 assists. So now it's time to see, can he step up to that all-star level? Can he take that one extra step? Maybe add maybe 4 more points to his game, maybe add another assist. Another rebound, can he take that next step, which will overall help the team? So that's what I'm expecting for. That's what I'm expecting from RJ Barrett this upcoming season.
Well said. Yeah, I think we need to look at how he handles a transition from it becoming Randle's team to his team. And that's not just because he's making the most money, but I think in terms of the timeline of his core, in terms of their age, he is the face of the franchise. I think the ball is going to be in his hands a lot more than usual, especially at the end of games. So RJ really transitioning into the face of the franchise. The guys will take that last second shot while guarding the best player on the other team. That's what I'm looking for the most. And that comes in leadership, it comes in communication, in terms of like, calling out defensive plays and offensive schemes on the court when he sees the other team switching and transitioning when they're playing. I think that's going to be the real big thing I'm looking for, as well as obviously a point production jump is going to need to happen. I think what Ryan said, 3 to 4 points sounds about right. But even if he stays at 20 or 21 and he really becomes that dog on the court, he becomes a lot more vocal, both on and off, inspiring his teammates, and you see guys getting better around him, he's putting in the work and motivating them off the court to really play more cohesive as a unit. And I think that we don't talk about that as well in terms of other guys we're talking about. But I'm really going to be looking at how the other starters play alongside him in terms of plus minus and his efficiency when he's out there with that starting unit.
Yeah, I agree with you because, I feel like everybody's seen that when RJ had the ball more in his hands towards the end of the season, it seemed like he started getting into the groove. He had like a month where he was finishing at the rim at the higher clip. But what really started to elevate his game is him getting to the line and him upping his free throw attempts. He ended up averaging 5.8 free throws a game for the end of the season, but I feel like for like a month he was averaging about 8 free throws a game, and he was like amongst the league leaders. So for me, when I'm looking at what RJ is going to do with this game this season, I'm looking to see, will there be a continuation of that from RJ Barrett, where he's like, I'm going to the hole with reckless abandon. That is my game. Screw these threes. I'm going to the hole. And also the finishing, he's been bottom of the league in finishing for so long. Will he reap the benefits of going to the hole and going to the free throw line by actually finishing at the rim? And we could take a look at his cleaning the glass stats. And for you guys, you can see bright orange means very good, above league average. Mute orange means average. Blue means bad. Blue means below average. Blue means he needs to work on that. And when you're looking at these shooting numbers across the board for RJ Barrett is mostly blue. Effective field goal percentage, right? 46.7% effective field goal percentage, 12th percentile in the league. At the rim, 15th percentile in the league. Short mid, 21st percentile in the league. All mid, 17th percentile in the league. He hasn't really shot well in general, but he just gets to the line, and it seems like towards the end of the season, he's finding that knack of finishing well, finishing games well, and making plays as well. You know what I mean? Only thing that he seemed like he was doing okay in average was the non-corner three, which was the 56th percentile, was kind of league average. So he has a lot of work to do when it comes to scoring the ball in general. But there's certain things that I did see that he did do well in. And one of the things I did see him do well in is on a defensive end of the ball. It's funny because I was digging into numbers, and if you look into RJ Barrett's defense on the year, and we criticize his defense here as well once his touches have gone up, but he's in the 87th percentile in isolation defense, meaning 101 mano a mano 9 times out of 10. If you try to isolate RJ Barrett, you're going to have a hard time, and he's done well with that. He's done pretty well with pick and roll defense as well, with the pick and roll ball handler, average 57th percentile. But what you really want to see him do better on is, running the offense, distributing the ball, making the correct pass. And he started to do that more and more. Where I feel like he gets into a lot of trouble is when he gets a little bit too tunnel vision out. I think him getting tunnel vision hurts his percentage at the rim in general, right? But then when he has a concerted effort to get his teammates involved, mainly Mitchell Robinson, he does pretty well. So he needs to do that as well. 29th percentile pick and roll ball handler needs to pick that up. But overall, he's averaged 20 points per game for the first time in his career. Despite all those stats, he's gotten better every year. And I think we're in a good place with RJ, but I still want to see if he can take that leap. And one of the things he's going to have to do to take that leap is, take command of this team. And one thing I really want to see is how RJ and Jalen Brunson coexist together to see if those guys can create some synergy. What do you guys think about those stats?
Yeah, I think what's missing when we're talking about this is a lot of context. When I look at the 3 years that RJ's been in the lead so far, and there's a lot of blue there, and that is very disconcerting no matter how you look at it. But it's also blue when he's playing alongside a black hole in Julius Randle, zero spacing in Mitchell Robinson, and even to a certain extent, Reggie Bullock and some of the bench players, Albert Burst, he was playing alongside, even though they might have been good in corner threes overall, you're not getting elite spacing alongside that. And Elfrid Payton, Dennis Smith Jr., Alonzo Trier, I mean, the litany of terrible point guards, even Burt's a small forward playing point guard. He's had a lot of issues in terms of putting himself in position to increase those statistics and efficiency because of who he's been surrounded by. And that's on the front office and Thibs in terms of their flexibility and willing to be, a little more experimental with the lineups. I'm hoping now that he has a real point guard at the helm of his team and hopefully better spacing and shooting alongside him on a perimeter with Grimes inserted into his starting lineup. We should see those numbers rise naturally, more so than forced.
Yeah,
go ahead, Ryan.
I also just want to add something to what Lee said as well, because, we talk about how we would like to see RJ Barrett make a little bit of a jump in scoring, due to him, due to the Knicks, signing him on that 4-year contract and trusting him they're pretty much putting the franchise in his hands right now. Well, if he improves his shooting efficiency, he can easily get those 3 to 4 points a game. It's not even a matter of him taking more field goals or whatever the case may be. It's just a matter of him improving his efficiency and even free throw shooting. Like, he struggled at the line as well. So if he picks up his free throw shooting and becomes a little bit more efficient, he can easily score those 3 or 4 more points per game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the free throw is going to be a big deal. And you're rightly as well. The point guard situation, the synergy between him and Jalen Brunson might be a thing to look at as well. But everything we read about Jalen Brunson is that he's a natural leader, and I was digging into his stats as well, and it looks really good, man. It looks very well. It bodes well for us. I'm gonna just say this: you see all this blue for RJ. When you looked at Jalen's, this is the complete opposite. This is orange in this. All right, he's the orange and the blue and orange. But we'll dig into that later. All right. I know we got a caller that's coming up. And I know Fritz says JR is the first caller. JR, let us know what you want to talk about, sir.
Yo.
Was good.
What's poppin', crew? What's poppin', team? Yo, I gotta keep it 100, man.
Keep it.
That little hiatus you took, man, you were sorely missed, man. Sorely missed. Like, these content creators, man, I mean, I'm all over the place on YouTube, man. A lot of these guys starting to sound like ESPN personalities. Like, we needed you back, man. We're glad to have you back, and we're looking forward, I'm looking forward to seeing you grow this year even more. I know it's coming, man. You make great content, always level-headed, always keep it real.
Appreciate it.
So, we appreciate that, man.
Appreciate it, yeah. We're going to ease our way back. Trust me. Go ahead.
Nah, man, I gotta keep him 100, man. I gotta address some things, man. I mean, some of this stuff you guys already talked about. Mm-hmm. But I gotta say, man, like, people over the summer, I just been listening to see, like, what the community is talking about. And people really talking like Julius Randle is like, he's gone. We have to trade him, give him away for nothing, for pennies. And, like, I have to say something, man. Look, I'm 32 years old. I've been watching the Knicks on all the down years. I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. I'm not old enough to remember the Patrick Ewing days. All I've seen is pretty much like Marbury, the start of Marbury on. A lot of dark years. That's a long time now.
Yeah.
And how many players have we had that did what Julius Randle did for us 2 years ago? Like, how many players have we had that make an All-NBA team and literally key cause for us to go to the playoffs. I mean, we haven't even gone to the playoffs that much in 20 years. I understand what happened last year, and I don't condone his behavior. He had a horrible year.
Right.
It was so bad that even my casual wife that watches, like, yo, what's wrong with him? And why is he looking like that? Why is he, like, straight up, this is real talk. She's like, yo, what's up with this guy? He had a horrible year.
Yeah.
I will still say that as bad of a year, as bad of his attitude was, the front office failed him last year by not getting him a true point guard. And that's where I'm going with this, man. People, we need to really, like, I don't want to watch the first game of the season and hear Julius Randle getting booed on the first possession. Like, I don't want to hear that. It's like, that makes us as bad as he was last year, we have to leave that last year. We can't bring that energy with us this year because we're trying to have a good year. We're trying to turn the page. And,
right.
And would we totally be surprised if Julius Randle even reached 80% of what he was 2 years ago and what that would do for us? Not to mention, even if he did do that, the trade value that he would have, because I'd be still trading him. I'm not going to lie. If he goes out, I'd be like, he's definitely worth more than one first-round pick at the trade deadline.
Yeah, listen, yo, appreciate you calling, man. I'm going to respond. I hear you. Appreciate you calling. I'm gonna talk about it. All right. Listen, if you're looking for a Julius Randle defender, don't look at me. I'm just saying. But I will say this, to be fair, for those of you who watched this show all last season, I did defend Julius Randle up until about December, because I do feel like Randle was getting unfair treatment. Because first he was shooting too much, and then I remember first they said he was shooting too much because, you know, he had to defer to everybody, and then he was passing out the ball, and then people were complaining that he was passing too much and he's too passive. So I felt like it was a point of the season where the fans were turning on him, and he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. And I was defending him at that point. But then there was a part of the season where he checked out defensively, not running back on defense and things of that nature, and I couldn't defend him any longer. So for me, if we can move him and get something almost reasonable for him, I'm down for it. Especially if, cause I want to see what Obi Toppin have, and we have to see what he has. So that's just where I am with it. But if he comes back at the end of the day, he's still wearing a blue and orange uniform. He's still a Knick uniform, so I'm going to root for the guy. And I do agree that I do not want to see Randle getting booed game one of the season just cause. I definitely agree with that. I'm not going to be on that type of time. I'm rooting for the guy because he's wearing orange blue uniform. But at the same time, if we were able to find a reasonable deal for him, I'm not above moving the man either, because you already know what I feel about it. That's all I really got to say.
The point of view of that caller is coming from, I relate to so strongly. Those dark years of the Isaiah Thomas, Dylan Grunwell, those are Phil Jackson. We all know about those dark times. And Julius Randle is better than every player we've had from there, except for Melo, in my opinion. He's better than KP. Even in off year, Randle's 20-10-5.
Right.
You know, he's better than David Lee. He's better than Amari Stoudemire when he was broken and injured. The issue for me is the fact that Obi Toppin is behind him.
Yeah.
And my frustrations and why I'm quick to pull the trigger on a Randle trade is mainly because to move him means that Obi's joy and his love of the game and his infectious smile and his the boundless potential and a high ceiling would be starting. And that to me is worth trading a second team or third team all NBA player in Julius Randle, which we have not had since the 90s. It's worth it to let Obi start and unlock that potential and just have a team that really loves playing with each other, and we don't have to worry about the thumbs down and all that social media BS, just to let the boys play. Yeah, I agree with you. And shout out to Ace of Spade, who talks about RJ 23 and he has more responsible. That's another reason why I'm looking for RJ to take this next step too. I would like for a guy
who has that even keelness, that kill instinct, that kind of grit where he doesn't get unbothered. I would like for him to take that next step because it would just mean more for us and for the Knicks if a guy who has that solid of a work ethic, that solid of an attitude can really produce and be an all-star. That's going to uplift the franchise wholeheartedly. The front office just has to, do the right thing and not trade the man, but that would do the right thing. That would help us tremendously.
Yeah, and I also want to add one more thing about Julius Randle. Like, if there's any Knicks fan that's going to go into this season and booing this guy, they're stupid because, number one, the better Julius Randle plays, it's like a win-win situation. The better Julius Randle plays, the more he helps the team. At the same time, his value rises even more. So now all these reports coming out saying that the Knicks are pretty much having trouble trading Julius Randle, or they may have to attach a first-round pick to trade Julius Randle, whatever the case may be. Now that transforms into, okay, maybe a team is not going to give up a first-round pick to get Julius Randle because he's been performing so well with the Knicks in the first half of the season if they do consider trading him at the trade deadline.
Right.
So you really have to go into the season with a clean slate on Julius Randle. He's wearing the blue and orange. He's part of the Knicks. Cheer for the man. If he performs good, he helps the team win. And then if he raises his value, then it makes him more easily movable. And then you open up the path for Obi to give him that chance in the future.
I agree. And shout out to JR. Thank you for calling. I'm glad. Listen, man, it's been a long off season, but we'll be back. Trust me, we'll be back with a vengeance. With lives on lives on lives, and you'll be tired of us. Trust me. All right. But JR mentioned something pretty important, and he mentioned a point guard. This is the best point guard Julius Randle and RJ Barrett will have the privilege of playing with, and that point guard is named the one, the only, Jalen Brunson, godson of Leon Rose. All right, coming into guarding, and here's my thing about Jalen Brunson. I have questions for sure about Jalen Brunson. He's done well in the playoffs for Dallas. He's done well without Luka. I read some stats that said without Luka Doncic in the lineup in the regular season, he averaged around 20 points and 7 assists with 50% from the field and 35% from three from Jalen Brunson without Luka Doncic. My question to you guys is, can he carry that into the season with these New York Knicks? And I have my questions and issues about that. Or my worries. But at the same time, I'm a little worried, but I also recognize this guy, he has a chance to be something. He has a chance to be a star, but I want to see if he fits with the pieces here. But Lee, what do you think about Jalen Brunson coming to the New York Knicks?
100%, man. I think what I like the most about this situation is he's not alone. It's not a situation when we have Marbury with, it's like, who's on the bench? Ruchi Norris. It's like, oh, man. When the moment that Marbury sits, you got trash coming in and destroying the chemistry of a team. Jalen Brunson sits, you got the dog, Derrick Rose, coming in to hold down the fort. You got IQ coming in, too, to play a little off guard
right.
or off ball. Like, I like the dynamic of that trio. Even Deuce McBride. You got 4 solid guys that all bring a different element to the team where Brunson doesn't have to do it all. He's not coming in as some big point guard savior. He's actually coming in to the most depth we've had at this position in decades. It's a great situation for him to come into. He just had to up the number of threes he takes per game. 3 balls a game ain't going to cut it. You got to boost that up to 5 or 7 a game. I watched a lot of Mavs last season. For some reason, the kid just refuses to shoot. Even when he's open, he loves going to the lane and getting fouled and driving to the hoop, which he's great at. But I got to see more 3-point attempts for the spacing to really work out, especially with Mitch and Randle up front. But in terms of like that dog mentality and the leadership and the ability, it's all there. And I love that the front office has put a team in place where it's not contingent upon him even being healthy for every single game. You got Derrick Rose, you got IQ, and I pray Thibs plays Deuce McBride as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, I was looking at his numbers too. You talking about the shooting? He shot 80% from spot ups to last season as a spot up shooter in general. Really eight in that mid range area, which is pretty good, but also concern of mine. Brunson up his attempts from 102 to 2021 to 237 in 2021-2022 season. He shot 40% from the field on those mid-range shots. And one of my biggest concerns is with the spacing being the way it is. Is he still going to get those same opportunities to cook at a mid-range like he had in Dallas, where they have a 5-hour offense? I'm still remembering when I'm looking at the Phoenix game where I watched Dallas shut down a mid-range shooter and a mid-range shooter on Phoenix, and I'm thinking that same thing could happen to us if we don't have the spacing. What do you think about that, Ryan?
Well, here's the thing. I agree with a lot of what Lee said, because Jalen Brunson is coming into a situation where even in Dallas, it's not like Dallas was his team. It was Luka's team, and he played more of that like secondary role. And then even like you stated, Jay, like even when Luka didn't play, he still put up pretty good stats. But at the same time, like you also said, Dallas had a lot of spacing on the court as well, which allowed Jalen Brunson the space that he needed to penetrate to the basket, get to the rim, finish at the rim, shoot mid-range jumpers or whatever the case may be. And of course, with the Knicks, the spacing is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be the same exact spacing. So there is that worry if he's going to still get enough space to do what he does. But I do think at the same time, though, his efficient shooting will help the Knicks as well, because he's going to free up space for other guys like RJ, et cetera, on the perimeter as well, because you can't leave Jalen Brunson open. You have to guard him on the perimeter.
Right.
So that's going to definitely pull some guys up, which will allow RJ more space to operate. And then especially if you add Grimes to that lineup as well, that's another shooter right there too that's going to draw somebody up, which should free up more space for RJ. Julius Randle, if he's in the starting lineup, which he will be. So there's positives to draw from there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with Jalen Brunson, all I really hope for is that he's able to keep up his efficient shooting, because for a small guard, he's very efficient. 50% from the field, 40% from three, which is crazy for a guard that's 6 foot tall. And I think if he's able to keep up that efficient shooting, say for example the mid-range game is taken away because the spacing isn't great for Knicks or whatever the case may be. If he can still get that three ball going at that same rate, it's still going to help out regardless. So
yeah,
there is some worry, but there's also some optimism as well with Jalen Brunson in the lineup.
Yeah, I think this season, with him at the range, the one thing he has to work on is shooting on those screens and not just looking to drive. Like when you do those high screen pick and rolls at 3-point line, pulling them instead of looking for a drive. That might be the key, because with the way the Knicks are set up, they might sag off and clog that paint. But like you said, there is plenty of good with Jalen Brunson when it comes to the shooting.
I got a bold prediction for y'all.
Oh, go ahead. Let's go.
I think Brunson wins one of these three awards. I think he either wins most improved, all NBA third team, or all-star. I think he gets one of those three this season.
I could definitely see most improved for sure. I can definitely see most improved. Now, if we're in the playoff picture for sure, if we're in like that, I feel like if we're like a 6 seed, it's not. All-star might be tough, man. It's too many guards. There's too many guards. I can see him doing most improved. I can see him do between Darius Garland, Kyrie Irving. It's so much. Yeah, I think it'll be hard for him to get an all-star nod, but I can definitely see him getting the most improved nod. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that's why I hedged my bets. And I said one of the three. I think one of the three are possible. When's the last time we've been able to say something like that? I mean, Randle for sure, but it's been a long time since we've had a point guard that we could say we'll be able to win one of those.
Yeah. All right. And looking at these numbers, man, look, rim, 93rd percentile from shooting at the rim from your small guard in Jalen Brunson. Short mid 91st percentile, all mid 89th percentile, corner 3 90th percentile. This man can shoot the basketball. And not only that, when it comes to isolation plays, end of game situations, he might be the best isolation player we have. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. Looking at the numbers, the best isolation player we have is sadly Derrick Rose. Crazy. Derrick Rose is still. I'm gonna pull these stats up real quick. Derrick Rose isolation on defense, but Jalen Brunson is number 2. All right, Jalen Brunson is number 2. Derrick Rose 81st percentile in isolation, which so you
That's
can
what I'm saying.
insane.
The guard rotation on this team is crazy.
Correct. Jalen Brunson 65th percentile in isolation. Not all-star numbers, but it's like a little more, like a little bit above average, but not that much. But with him having the ball in his hands a little bit more, maybe you start to see that go up. But
if Brunson pops off and we're in a playoff hunt, these New York fans are gonna go crazy. Even the K-pop fans that Wiggins in the starting lineup, bro. These New York fans around the world, man, it's global. They can vote him in if he has an unbelievable season. If he jumps from 16 points a game to 20, 21, shit, man, I'll be having like 9 burners. A burner even to vote him in, bro. I'm serious.
Okay, Kevin Durant. All right.
All I'm saying is, if Jalen Brunson makes an all NBA team, yo, I might have to run in these streets naked, dog, because that would be so crazy. An all NBA team. That'd be so crazy.
you're in Indy now. That's dangerous, bro.
Yeah, man. I don't want to do that over there in those parts. But yo, there's a lot to like. There's still a lot to like with Jalen Brunson, man. Digging to even more stats.
Let's go.
Pick and roll ball handler. I didn't know this. 90th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler. Mitch eating this season, baby. Mitch is eating. You never had a lob threat like Mitch before. So now we can see some things from Brunson and RJ Barrett going to Mitch. So big important stat from him on our side. The ball, but as you know, the defensive side of the ball is probably the biggest concern. When it comes to isolation defense for Jalen Brunson, actually it's not that bad. 85th percentile. But pick and roll defense, not so good. But all in all, Jalen Brunson is looking all right, man. He should be good on his team. My thing is this, and I keep saying this, RJ Barrett, you need to study Jalen Brunson, man. You need to. Like, I feel like RJ Barrett should straight up control C Jalen Brunson's entire game. Like, they're both kind of not so super quick. Have to use angles and shiftiness to get to the hole, a bunch of fakes and finishes and pivots. That's all Jalen Brunson does, is pivots you to death and get that footwork going to get in the mid-range. That's what RJ Barrett needs to really study Jalen Brunson this season to get things going. So hopefully he does. All right. Yo, so salute to the channel. Salute to the chat. I haven't shouted the chat all night. If you're loving the show so far, you already know to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back. We'll be back next week to do more breakdowns for other players that's gonna be in Knick uniform, talk about the player outlook. All right. Also, if you want to call in, you already know, look at that number right there. All you gotta do is dial 319-527-6241 if you want to call and talk to your boys at the KOT show. All right. Salute to you guys. Salute to Picks for Timmy, Edward Sterling, Civil Analytics, aka Big Reaper, Fritz Alessandor, David Parker, everybody, Knicks, Yak, Paul Butler, everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. Definitely appreciate you. King Mark, everybody was here early. Appreciate you guys. All right. Next caller up. We got our guy, Big Reaper, aka Silver Analytics. What's going on, sir?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Thank you for taking my call. Hey, Jay Ellis. Hey, guys. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a great addition for the Knicks. And in terms of how Jalen is going to play with the rest of the team, I think it might be a good thing for RJ. Maybe RJ might I don't know, maybe he'll be able to work with RJ, or the coaches will work with RJ. At least, basically, if you had someone else running the offense in terms of initiating the offense, maybe RJ can basically figure out where he can get his shots from. So he can basically maybe practice it a little more. Maybe it might help with his efficiency. And so I think it may help with RJ's efficiency with him running the offense. And in terms of Julius Randle, I'm not sure how well it's going to work, because I think we've seen situations where somebody will make a play, Julius Randle has a run at the rim, it has a lane to the rim, and then he'll just start dribbling the ball.
Right.
And instead of actually attacking the lane. And so unless if he changes his game where he basically, if somebody makes a play for him, whether it's RJ or Jalen, and he has an open, like a lane, if he's able to just make that decision and just attack the paint, then I think, one thing, or at least take the open jump shot instead of him just starting to dribble. So
yeah.
We'll see. Maybe he changes it. And if he does, I think maybe, he'll have a better season. I think overall he's gonna be pretty good for our team. And he was, I think last year he played like 17 games without. You guys covered it already, but he played 17 games without Luka, and he actually did really well. And he did a very good job making sure like he had control of their offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like statistically, he definitely had an impact on the game, and basically it's almost like kind of the same thing we saw with Julius a couple of years ago without Luka, as he went, the Dallas Mavericks went. So if he played well, the Mavericks play well. If he played poorly, the Mavericks, also played poorly. So that usually just means he just has really good control of the offense, and he can actually be an engine for your offense in terms of initiating the offense. So, but I think it's going to be a good thing for the team. One thing I did do, I tried to swap out that for basically. I imagined that basically everyone else performed exactly the same way as they performed last year. Like let's say RJ shoots 40%, Julius shoots 41%,
right,
and Obi's playing 8 minutes a game. It seems like possibly he gets up to swapping him and Burks out, he gets it up to 41 wins, and that's if at least that's what it kind of suggests doing the analysis, but
I
don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking, man. Best case scenario is Julius Randle and RJ Barrett shoot their 3-point percentage from 2 seasons ago. That's best case scenario. I don't expect. I'm not even sure if I expect RJ to average 20, but to me, I want him to be more efficient. Both of those guys be more efficient this season and last season, and that'll be the win that I'll take. But all good points, man. All good points, Reaper. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. Question for you guys. Game on the line. 1 minute left. Who do you want finishing the game? Jalen Brunson or RJ Barrett? Lee.
RJ Barrett.
Even with the isolation numbers being the way they are. I'm going to read them for you again. Just in case you forgot. Just in case you... Isolation, Jalen Brunson, 65th percentile. RJ Barrett in isolation, 43 percentile.
If RJ Barrett's not taking that shot, what are we paying the bad for? It's his team now. It's time for him to do it. If we're depending on Jalen Brunson to bail us out, I'm cool with that 1 or 2 games. But in terms of these scenarios, these Magic scenarios, I want it to be RJ Barrett. It's his team, man. I want to see a young kid rise up and be the Maple Mamba. Let's go.
Maple Mamba, stand up. Let's go. Ryan, what do you think?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Tough one. Chat. I want to see your answers in the chat.
I
One for RJ, 2 for Jalen. What you got?
By committee, whoever has the best matchup.
Whoever. Oh, you took that way out. Okay, I see what you did.
Best matchup.
I see what you did there. Whoever has the best matchup. All right. Yo, I'm conflicted on this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm conflicted. Jalen Brunson's the insult factor point guard. I feel like he can do his thing. I feel like I'll be more comfortable with Jalen Brunson finish the game. The only thing I do see with Jalen Brunson, he doesn't really get to the line a lot. I think he averages 2 free throw attempts a game to RJ like 5.8. So when the game is on the line, I can see RJ drawing that whistle and getting to the line and getting easy free throws. He just has to hit them free throws. You know what I mean? He just has to hit them free throws.
The one thing we can all agree, it's not Julius Randle.
It's not Julius Randle.
I don't want to see that spin move, bro. No more spin moves, bro. It's out. We out this year. No more.
Nah.
Julius Randle, stand in the corner.
Right there, where you belong. I'm sorry.
Decoy.
Yeah, decoy, exactly. Have him throwing the ball.
I see a couple of ones and a couple of twos, man. I see a few ones and a few twos. It's kind of weird.
One, RJ, baby.
I'm going to say, guns in my head, Brunson. I'm saying.
Yeah,
Brunson.
I mean, I think me too. If I have to choose, I probably would go Brunson over RJ at the moment. If I have to choose,
I'm gonna go Brunson. And I'm gonna go RJ number 2.
yeah.
RJ hot, giving the ball to RJ. If Julius Randle is hot, I'm still giving the ball to Brunson. All right.
Wait, who's number 3 though? Who's your number 3? Grimes?
Quickly.
Who's that third player? Derrick Rose?
Number 3 is quickly. I'm just looking at stats. I got mad stats on stats in front of me. All right. Isolation offense. Quickly 47 percentile. All right.
Okay.
That's 4 percentiles better than RJ Barrett. Really. Well, so we got Derrick Rose first, and then we have Jalen Brunson second, and Amanda Quickly third, as far as isolation players. Which lets you know how far we have to go to really get some isolation all-star play here. But that's what it's looking like. All right. So that's where I'm rolling with it. And then if you want to look at Julius Randle's isolation stats,
we don't need to see
for
that.
entertainment, what is Julius Randle's isolation statistics? For entertainment, can you entertain us, please?
21%.
Yikes! Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah. And Tibbs continually went to him at the end of the game in the post with that in mind. So I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how he just kind of ignored stats all year and did what he wanted. But I digress. As Mitch would say, take that for data. All right.
Oh man.
Because Mitch has been on a run on IG and TikTok lately. But let's get to this next caller. Huh?
No, I just said Mitch's line. Relax, Berman. Relax.
Exactly. Relax, Berman. Relax. Yo. All right. Next caller, we got our guy Mike from Michigan. Mike, let us know what your name is. Where you from? I mean, what? I know what your name is. What do you want to talk about, Mike?
Mike, you there?
Is Mike still there?
Oh, actually, I think
Hello?
Daryl from Charlotte.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Daryl from Charlotte. But
This is Darren from Charlotte. Okay, Mike hung up. Mike was like, y'all talking too much. What's going on, Daryl?
Okay, so listen. Excuse me?
Yeah, I hear you. Good to go.
Okay. So look, this is the deal, right? All right. So Brunson has been around basketball pretty much all of his life, right? Like his dad played,
You know what I'm saying? He's got connections with, like, I think Thibodeau. He's got connections with a lot of guys, right?
Right.
That you know, played the game, been around the game for a while, right? Okay, so that's really a gift, because if you look at Brunson's game, in my opinion, Brunson's game is underappreciated.
I could see that.
It's appreciated, but it's underappreciated. It should be appreciated on a more higher level.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. So those guys that he's been around all of his life, right? If you look at Brunson's game, Brunson can get his offensive. He can get his. But the thing about Brunson is he gets his in the flow of the game. He can get his and get others, help others get theirs.
Right.
You know, because you don't see very many point guards like that anymore. Now, I believe that's because of who he's been around all his life. He has a game that, I'm not going to say it's like an old school game, but
No,
he
it
has
is.
a
It's old
game
school.
of a true point guard. And he's going to help a lot of these young guys block. He's going to help Grind. If him and Grind play together, he's going to help Grind, you know, when he kicks it out. RJ, he better knock down the shot. But we know RJ is, you know, he's pretty strong. You know what I'm saying? He can get to the rack also. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not going to really speak bad about Julius. You know, we all know about Julius. I'm not going to speak bad about that, right? But the guy, man, Brunson, he's a dog, man. I'm telling you. And he's gonna help. He's gonna help in this. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh man, they're gonna be like the 4th seed or they're gonna be the 5th seed. But I do believe that if Thibodeau coaches correct, see, this is the thing. Okay, your question was, who do we want the ball in the hand, RJ or Brunson? I'm going Brunson all day.
I'm going Brunson.
Because Brunson's going to make the right decision. He's going to make the right basketball decision. He's going to make the right basketball decision. Now, RJ, I don't mind having it in his hand, but I don't feel as confident RJ making the right decisions like Brunson will. RJ's a dog. He's going to go to the basket and try to score. He's going to try to score. Period.
Yeah.
RJ's going to try to score.
No, I agree.
Brunson, he's gonna make the right basketball play.
Yeah,
whether
I agree.
It's through Grinds in the corner, or whoever's on the court at that time, he's gonna make the right basketball play. That's just for my analysis of watching his game, man.
Got you. Yo, appreciate you calling, Daryl. It's your first time calling?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
You'll be hearing from me some more.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're gonna be here during the season after every game talking Knicks basketball. Appreciate you calling, man.
All right. Y'all be safe, man.
All right. Yeah, man. Brunson knows what he's doing. Listen, yo, offensively, he fits into what we're doing. Like, it's very rare to have a guy who can fit on and off the balls like Brunson does. So it's just defensively where we're gonna have our problems with him. But he's a great park car, man. I'm still team Quickly too, but Brunson is a solid addition for our team. All right. Mike Uno. The number to call, if you guys don't know, the number is on the graphic right under the ticker. 319-527-6241. That's 319-527-6241. It's right there under the ticker. All right? Right on the graphic right there. All you got to do. All right? Cool. And you'll hear my guy Fritz answer the phone. All right? Next guy, listen. Let's get into the Block Nest monster. Money making Mitchell Robinson. You want to talk about underrated? I feel like a lot of fans underrated Mitchell Robinson, man. I feel like a lot of Jericho Sims had a great year last year, and then all of a sudden everybody thought that Mitch Robinson was chopped liver, and I just did not agree with that at all. I just do not agree. I feel like he has a chance to grow out his game even more and take a next step. Granted, small baby steps, But I believe in Mitch that like it was a good sign that he can remain healthy for an entire season, almost an entire season. And it's a good sign that he can be among the league leaders in offensive rebound. And that as the season progressed last season, he played himself into shape and he started getting to some of that athleticism back that we missed from him in the beginning of the season when he put on all that weight from the injury. So and also this is a summer where he's injury free. And when you are injury free and an NBA player, that is when you actually get better. So people were talking about he didn't get better last season. He was injured. He was rehabbing. When you're rehabbing, you don't have the opportunity to grow your game out. And you can already see this year from the videos he's posting, he's growing his game out. He's attempting to. But we'll see the results, hopefully, as the season progresses. Guys, what do you think about Mitchell Robinson? I know earlier, Lee, you talked about how he had the most to prove in your mind.
Y'all remember when we had Mary Stoudemire in every season before it started, he'd be like, this season's going to be phenomenal. Like, I'm going to come out phenomenal. I'm going to come out in phenomenal shape. Like, chemistry is going to be phenomenal. I feel the same way about Mitchell Robinson, man. We're entering year 5, and I'm still waiting to see Mitch fully unleashed. I'm still waiting for the dude to average double digits in rebounds. I'm still waiting for the guy to average more field goal attempts than 4.8 a game. Like, it's really time for Mitch to become the player that we thought he was going to be since we drafted him. There's been, off and on starting wars with Nerlens Noel when really he should have had that position from the get-go. I know he struggled with injuries and even sometimes motivation, but I think year 5 was a year where David Lee became an all-star. And year 5 needs to be the year that we never again wonder whether Mitch is going to be the starter or if Isaiah Hartenstein is going to take his position. Like, he needs to be a top 15, if not top 10 center in the NBA this season. And I think looking at someone like Clint Capella is a good comp for where Mitch could be if he really fully realizes his abilities and his potential. Clint Capella is not, a superstar center, and he's actually only 6'10". But the dude last year was able to score 11 points a game and pull down 12 rebounds a game and average over 10 rebounds for his entire career. And he's been in the lead for like 7 or 8 years. Right. I think Capella is someone that Mitch to really mimic his game after, being that rim running, raw, athletic type of center who doesn't have a whole lot of post skills or a whole lot of finesse, but someone who just can really bang on the boards. But man, we can't be settling for under 5 rebounds a game. Like, I need my guy to be pulling down at least 10 and really assert himself on offense as much as he does on defense, especially in the pick and roll. Now, granted, I've been harsh about not having a point guard, not having good spacing, but with Jalen Brunson, it's time for him to put up or shut up. I want to see fully realize Mitch in year 5.
Yeah. Well said. Crazy stat. Like I said, I've been digging into stats. Craziest stat I've seen from Mitch Robinson. And listen, we all know about the offensive rebounding stats. We all know. I saw the 2 craziest stats I've seen. Number 1 in the NBA in putback attempts. 43% of his shots come from putbacks. And he's in there. I think he's the 80 something percentile when it comes to putbacks. 87th percentile when it comes to putbacks. But also, one of the craziest stats I see, Mitch Robinson pick and roll defense. 52% when guarding the roll man. But check this out. When guarding the ball handler, he's in the 85th percentile in pick and roll defense. That's crazy. That stat is crazy. I mean, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say something about the pick and roll defense. I feel like him guarding the roller would probably be a bit higher if he wasn't stuck in enough situations last year where he had to guard 2 people at the same time off the pick and roll.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because oftentimes Mitch was stuck having to guard 2 people at the same time off the pick and roll. And if he's stuck doing that, then of course, him guarding the roller, those stats are not going to be as impressive. But I think it is a positive that, he is in the 85th percentile though when it comes to guarding the guy who has the ball in his hand off the pick and roll.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. What do you guys think about him expanding his game? You've seen him on IG putting up threes, working on his free throws. He was actually, I saw him, he was working on dribble handoff drills where you fake the dribble handoff and go to the hole and put the ball in. What do you guys think about that? Him developing that part of his game. To me, that the fake dribble handoff thing. I mean, when I saw the clip, it looked pretty slow, but I can see that working for Mitch real time with big centers guarding him out there. I think he has enough handle to do something like that, and I've always felt like that.
Yeah, with Mitch, I mean, people, always talk about the stretch fives and how they want their big men to shoot threes and things of that nature. And to me, I feel like Mitch can be effective doing what he's best at, which is rolling to the rim off pick and rolls, finishing at the rim, grabbing offensive boards, putbacks, and things of that nature. Because even though that's a limited skill set on offense, it's still a threat. It's still a threat when the other team has to guard you rolling to the basket because they know that if they lob it to you, that's going to be an easy dunk.
Right.
It's still a threat when somebody on the team puts up a shot and they see you under the rim grabbing the offensive board. They have to put a body on you, to make sure that you don't grab that offensive board, and that may free up somebody else to grab an offensive rebound as well. So Mitch can still be effective doing what he does well. I think the only thing I would think that he would probably need to add to his game, like I like the dribble handoff idea, because that's because Mitch has the length. So if he does a fake dribble handoff, it's all he pretty much has to do is do one dribble, and then take steps, and he's
it's
at
a
the
wrap.
basket.
We seen Obi do it. Oh,
exactly. So I think that would be something that he should add to his game. And I'm not expecting Mitch to be a flamethrower from three. Like, if he can add that to his game gradually in the future, that'd be great. But I think right now, the dribble handoff would be something that would be great for his game. And even if he could make just one go-to move, whether it's like a little jump hook in the lane, just something to keep the defense on their toes if he has the ball within the lane. So, yeah, that's all I'm really expecting from Mitch this season when it comes to the offense.
Yeah, I don't even care if he ever shoots a three in real-time situations in the game. He's been doing that, learned shooting threes on IG for about 3 seasons now during the summer. I just want him to build either a set shot like Taj had, 15 feet out, or at a turnaround baby hook, something that can up that field goal attempts from what he's been averaging, 5 a game around his career, between 7, 8, maybe even up to 9 or 10. Because he's an unbelievable athlete. There's very few matchups where there's someone better athletically than him at the center position. I want to see him really use that in transition, getting at the court and using his speed and his wide strides in terms of fast breaks to really play with that point guard and some of the facilitators we have on the perimeter to go up for lobs and decide be a freak out there on the court. And 5 attempts a game, he's really too passive, I think, on the offensive side. Defensively, I have no complaints with him. It's offensively, I want to see him assert himself, especially when he's going up against another bum on a different team, like a Dwight Powell or somebody.
No, he lights up bums. Like he like the putbacks, the offensive rebounds. He lights up bums. The thing is, though, I'm hoping Jalen Brunson helps this. There's been plenty of times where I see Mitch will post a smaller player up, and he won't receive the ball. You know what I mean? And I think that's as a product of running with that first unit. Sometimes in the first unit, just not getting him the ball. When you look at IQ and Obi, whenever Obi beats everyone down the court and has a post position, IQ was giving him the ball. No one was giving the ball to Mitch. I think having a point guard who has that awareness might help him in that regard. Now, when it comes, I'm gonna get to some more Mitch stats right now. Hold on, me. There's some other things that Mitch has to work on, right? Because Mitch has done well for himself as an offensive rebounder. 96 percentile in block percentage. 72nd percentile in steal percentage. See that orange there looking nice? Offensive rebound. Field goal percentage offensive rebound, 96 percentile. This defensive rebound though, 46 percentile. Has to improve. Has to improve. At least to be average. Because he's already tops in the offense. He needs to be average on the defensive rebounding side of the ball. To me, that's one of his biggest weaknesses when it comes to being a traditional center. But you know, everything else, I mean, listen, 92nd percentile at the rim, 100 percentile effective field goal percentage. He's done well in other areas. I would like to see him expand his game overall. So, and listen, I have to say this one, Isaiah Hartenstein, we signed him too. I do not believe. Listen, I think there is a chance that Hartenstein can offer up another look. So as much as I love Mitch, just the fact that Hartenstein can stretch the floor a little bit, even though he doesn't shoot threes, I'll keep an eye on that. I will definitely keep an eye on that as the season progresses to see if he challenges Mitch's for a starting spot and minutes, because he's a good player, man.
He's incredibly more polished than Mitch is. I think he's overall more skilled. I think Mitch has a higher ceiling and obviously is a superior athlete to
Right.
Hartenstein. Hartenstein has a great all-around game and is a sneaky good defender too in terms of guarding the paint and passing.
Right. Passing and shooting when he has to shoot. So I'll keep an eye on that. Definitely keep an eye on that. All right. Next caller up, we got our guy Mike from the Lower East Side.
Oh, what's good? This is Mike. Yo, my bad. I couldn't see the number, man. I was on my phone. But listen, I have an unpopular opinion
Let's go.
about Randle. So you can hear me, right?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. Yo, so here's my opinion on Randle. I think Randle's dope. I don't want to get rid of him. I think I'm really tired of everybody saying we got to get rid of him. That's crazy talk. The dude is nice. We're not going to get another power forward that can fill in what he can fill in. I think he's just been out of place. You know, maybe he's not the guy to give the ball to for the final shot in the final second. Clearly, he's under pressure. But it's kind of like RJ, under pressure at the free throw line. You don't want that situation either. As much as you love him, you don't want that situation. You know what I'm saying? But I think Randle's dope. I think now that we have a legitimate point guard, I think it's going to be different. I think the Randle hate needs to stop. The dude is nice. He wants to be here. You know what I'm saying? I think, I love watching him and his wife and his kid on the court. They look hyped. They look happy to be here. I feel really bad for him and his family and all the hate that they get, and everybody wants him out of here like he's a piece of trash. He's not. The dude is nice, bro. I think we just needed another piece, and we have it now. By the way, I'm glad that we didn't make the trade for Donovan Mitchell, because Jesus Christ, we would have just destroyed our team that we have and love right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But for real, Randle is dope, man. I think y'all sleeping on him. I think y'all forgot. Y'all must have forgot. He's nice, for real, he's nice, and I think he's gonna have a bounce back year. And everyone is going to feel y'all gonna feel foolish when y'all start saying things like, "Yeah, we were wrong. We need to keep him. He's our guy." You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do. Randle, if you're listening, you my dude, bro. You my dude, Randle.
Randle Hive has woke up.
Yeah, for real. But much love to y'all all. I just wanted to show Randle some love, and I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. The dude is nice. Stop trying to get rid of him. He's too nice, bro.
All right, appreciate
Have a good night.
Appreciate the call, Mike.
Was that a Julius Randle burner phone, bro?
There's not a burner. There's not a burner phone. Randle can't throw his voice. I don't know. Do they have technology yet that can do that? I don't think they have that.
Julius Randle, I know that was you, bro.
That's Mike. That's how I got Mike. He's called in before. Shout out to Mike. All right. Leave Mike alone. All right. But so I am a Knick fan first, if Randle turns it around, I would be ecstatic. Yeah. I'd be happy. Because Randle plays well, we all play well. And let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. If Randle plays to the level he was before, and we have Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett, now we're a completely different team. But I have to see Randle do that for myself. Do I expect Randle to play as bad as he did last season? God, I hope not. I don't think so. I don't think they play that bad. Will he be all-star level? I don't think he'll be all-star level either. I don't think he'll be the year before, but I don't think he'll be that bad like he was last season. And that's what I'm hoping for next season. If Randle can give us New Orleans Pelicans Randle, I'll be good. You know what I mean? Like, just give us that Randle, kind of efficient, but he kind of did his thing, keep his head low, don't blow up your teammates. That's what I want to see from Randle. But for him to do what he has to do, like, in my eyes, he has to be willing to take a lesser role and let Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett run the show. That's what I think has to happen for him to kind of settle. And I'm not sure if that's what he exactly wants to do. And I'm also not sure if that's what Tom Thibodeau wants to do. I'm hoping Tom makes a shift. That's what I'm thinking.
I do think it's unfair. Anytime you're talking about Julius Randle, it's unfair to just criticize Randle on its own. You need to always attach the accountability of Tom Thibodeau into that as well. Because Thibodeau is not only his enabler, but is part of the reason why Randle wasn't able to meet the criteria and expectations from that 2021 season because of overplaying him. Like you mentioned earlier, giving him the ball in isolation situations when the stats prove that's not the most viable option in the game scenarios. So to me, the Randle hate, the Thibs hate go hand in hand, and I'm in both of those camps.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Salute to the chat. Hold on, I see the gunshot. I see the super chat, man. Shout out to Blue and Orange Tears who sends a 199 super chat. Says shout out to the Go J Ellis and crew. Respect to you, my guy Blue and Orange here. So shout out to you. All right. Fritz, I know we have Fritz on the line. I don't know if anybody else wants to call or we can wrap up the show. But Fritz, let us know, man, what you want to talk about, sir.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit on about Julius Randle. I think he's going to have a much better year. I think last year that Burks really killed the ball movement completely. Burks likes to stop the ball at the 3-point line. You could really hate Alfred Payton the year before, saying that he wasn't a great point guard, but Alfred Payton went to the rim if you let him. And Burks is not that type of point guard. I think that the movement is going to be a lot better for Julius Randle. I think he's gotten a lot more criticism than he should have. Like, I think he acted like an absolute fool last year, but the Knicks as an organization made it much, much worse. So they didn't make him apologize. They made him put out some IG posts.
Yeah.
New York as a city just isn't going to take that. I think it was downhill from there. I think they just handled it wrong, which made him look even worse. I think he's going to bounce back. We talked about Mitchell Robinson. I think Hartenstein is going to put that battery in his back, and I think he's going to have to accept that.
Yeah,
I think he's going to.
Yeah, I feel like the same way I think Jalen Brunson can actually push RJ Barrett to get better, I think the same could be said about Hartenstein. So I kind of agree with you. He could put the battery in Mitch's back to expand his game and get better. I absolutely agree with you. All right. Shout out to the guy Fritz. One last shout out to the chat. Shout out to Mets Knicks fan. Let's go. Says if we keep Randle, give Obi another team to get him the minutes to play. Yeah, man. Like we have to. I do not want to move Obi, man. I do not want to move Obi. I do not need some other Frank Ntilikina situation. Shoot, Cam Reddish situation where we just have these guys languishing on the bench and we don't get anything for them if we don't play them. We need to actually play these guys because Ross said it all the time. I can see Obi's camp asking to be out if he's not getting any minutes. So we got to make a decision on that, or Tibbs has to find a way to play them. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. All right.
Yeah.
Triage Dem Music says 20-10-5 in a bad season. Yeah, I mean, you can't just look at stat. Look, the stats are great, but what's between the ears? What's in the heart? Like, is he a leader or is he blowing up the team? You can't just look at stats. You have to look at stats plus wins plus impact to the team. What's his plus minus? Is he had like that last year's starting five had the lowest plus minus of any team in the NBA? Like, it was bad. So those 20-10-5 stats, good on paper, but with the eye test, you can see that it wasn't really working for this Knicks team. All right. Jalen Brunson makes the game easier for Randle. I hope so. I definitely hope so. All right. I'm gonna end it there because I don't think we have any more callers. That is our show, man. Thank you guys for calling in. We'll be back to talk about some other players and give you our breakdowns and our thoughts. So yeah, thanks for calling in. And and also, let me know y'all. Did you guys see the jerseys that just came out?
Yes, I did. I saw all 4 jerseys.
What are your thoughts on these jerseys, man? Because I
mean, me personally, like, I'm cool with them. Like, I don't really see an issue with it. I do like that black jersey. I don't know if it's a city jersey or whatever they're calling it nowadays, but the black jersey, it's like they kind of throwing it back to that old Knicks black jersey with the orange and blue to the sides, but they kind of like changed it up a little bit with like the fade,
right?
Like that fade effect. I do like that jersey, but I'm cool with the jerseys. Like, I don't really have an issue with them.
I'm not feeling it, man. I don't know. I gotta see it on the guys, but from what I'm seeing on the gradient thingy, I'm still not really feeling it. That's just me. What do you guys think of the jersey? I see somebody said it was whack. They're not feeling it either. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just don't know. I'm trying to pull the jerseys up see if I can find them to let y'all know. But you know what? That's our show. We could just wrap it up right here. Lee, let them know where they can find you, sir.
I got some heat coming out post Santosha this week. I'm also on that Deadspin blog as well. I'm gonna give a shout out to Pits for Timmy. We've been going back and forth on that Mitchell Robinson chat on what he should be doing offensively this season. But man, I love Net fans, man. We always got an opinion, and we would die for those opinions too. So shout out to the chat and to Fritz, MVP of the show.
Yes, man, Fritz, best mind in the game. You already know Fritz, MVP of the show for sure. All right. Ryan, if you guys notice, Ryan has moved he's out of New York. He's now in Indiana, so he doesn't have his usual equipment, doesn't have his KLT hat. I saw somebody say, Ryan doesn't have his hat on. They was about to like break the screen. He's getting it shipped. He's getting all that stuff. But Ryan, let them know where you can find you, sir.
You can find me on Instagram at Sir G is chilling.
Sir G is chilling.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN. You can also find me at Sir G's Corner. Content is coming. A brother had to build up furniture and organize his place, so I didn't really have the time to get that on and popping again. But yeah, you can also find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. I still got the financial advisor thing going on if you need help with your finances.
Okay.
And yeah, my equipment is coming soon. I got to make another trip to New York City eventually to get my KOT hat, my equipment, and all that other stuff, along with other things too, because a brother ain't got no jacket here. Luckily, it's still warm. My brother got a jacket. I need to go back to New York City and get that too. But yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, man. You might see a new background for me too, yo. I'm looking to move, so I'm trying to do all this while trying to move and get ready to move. And so it's been kind of hectic over here too. And it's funny, like, Jealous, will you be eating in the summer? Yo, I'll be trying to get everything that I can't do a lot of side stuff during the season. So what you guys don't realize is, even though I do some shows in the summer, everything I can't do during the season, I try to do in the summer. So that's like trying to build out KOT more in other areas. That's advancing in some other part of my life. All that's to be happening in the summer. But I'm trying to get all that done before the season starts as fast as possible. But you already know what it is. You can find us on all social medias, as you already know. Find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Knick of Time Show on Facebook. You also can listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, and Spotify if you want to hear us there. Also, get those KOT snapbacks in blue and orange and black and white at nickoftimeshow.com. And yeah, that is it. That's all the information you need to know. And thank you guys for the super chat. Helps grow the channel, helps get this new mic. The sound is sounding nice, the lights, all that is because you guys are helping support the channel. So thank you guys for helping us get bigger, better, and better. And also, if you can't support that way, please hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. It helps us go to the next level of KOTs so we can help grow this thing bigger and better. All right. That is our show. And as always, you already know what it is.
Shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these YouTube streets. That is our show. We out of here.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.